Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. And today we are doing a lovely, juicy message on are they watching your social media? So I've got 3 piles here, pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. I will put the picture up for you to meditate, be drawn to your piles, and I will see you at your reading. So pile number 1, does this person watch your social media? Yes, they absolutely do. Now there's something unseen about this. So maybe you don't see them doing this or nobody else is seeing them do this, but they absolutely are. And this may surprise you because you're coming up as somebody from this person's past, first of all, but your energy is also coming up as headless in this situation. So maybe you don't, that's what's kind of giving me the indication that you don't know this person watches you. And also you're coming up as like this white rabbit energy, that this person has kind of like followed down the rabbit hole. And the reason that they're doing this, they have a lot of reasons why, but it's on like kind of different levels. And the strongest one here, I do just want to say this connection is extremely divinely guided. Spirit is kind of like making this person watch you, and it's because you have some kind of an elevated perspective. This person is really stuck in the lower chakras. Not necessarily that that is a bad thing, and I think they have some kind of, they have 2 other connections here in their life that kind of keep them in this lower vibration. And you have this elevated perspective, and I feel like their third eye is like just a little bit hazy. So they do struggle to see things from a spiritual perspective, from this elevated perspective. It all seems like so foreign to them, but they're getting a glimpse of this. And I'm hearing like, they're getting a glimpse into your world, and they're getting a glimpse of this elevated perspective here from a safe distance, and Spirit is kind of gifting them this in order to help them progress along their own spiritual journey, but all of it really does seem so foreign to them. Now, on a more practical level, they're watching you because you're away from them. Now, for some of you, I think you're from a different place than them. For others of you, it's like you live at a different place than them now. And for others of you, you are away from them because you may actually do a lot of traveling, like, and posting it on your social media. Maybe you even run your own like travel blog or something like that. But I think that you post a lot of like, regardless of which of those scenarios or which combination of those scenarios like this shakes up as, I think you post a lot of like Sagittarian themed things. So even if you say you don't travel a lot, but you're from a different place than this person, well, you still post, maybe cultural things, different kind of landscapes and things like that. And it's coming across like it's expanding this person's understanding of life and different ways that people live. Now, another reason that they watch you is because they like you and they're just curious about what it is that you're doing, and they find you to be really interesting. I'm hearing like it's the best show on television. It's this person just really does like your energy. They like to see what you're up to because they find it interesting, and it is like expanding their mind. It's doing a lot for them on a lot of levels. Also, I think this person kind of thinks that you live an idyllic sort of a life, which, surprise, surprise, social media makes all of us think that everyone else is living so much more of a better life than we are. And this person thinks that about you. Maybe they know your family and they really like your family, or they think that you have a happy family, or this person kind of feels like I'm hearing you're the one that got away, or like that they would like to have a happy family situation with you. And yeah, like for some of you, this person is wondering like if you are coming back. So that actually brings me to your energy here. Okay, you're coming up as the Queen of Wands. So, maybe a lot of you, obviously you're watching tarot, so you could be kind of like a witchy person, very spiritual person, very intuitive person, however you relate to these kinds of things. Very interesting, sexy, confident, magnetic. There's definitely an attraction here to your energy. But you are coming up here as a person from this person's past, and they feel like the cycle here is over or it's complete, and they're kind of upset about this because this person is starting to realize now that you have like the higher cup. And this could even be in terms of like a relationship, like you are like their ideal marriage partner, or it could just be in terms of like your perspective. This person is recognizing that you are elevated or you're interesting, you expand them in some way. And so yeah, like this person, like I said, you're showing up from their past. Now there's something that you did in the past though that was very sudden, jarring, or shocking. And it could have been moving or traveling. Like you could have just like up and left or something, like at least from this person's perspective, because I don't know how close you were in the past past, like, I don't know. Take that however it resonates. So it could have been that you just up and left. You could have changed your beliefs. You could have changed your culture. Like maybe you moved to a different country and you really did like adopt the customs and the dress and the garb and the food and the, identity of like another place. Or for some of you, it's like you changed your like culture, religion, something here like that. But there was something that was done here in the past that was like very sudden or shocking or jarring. And I feel like it did kind of stir up an interest, and it was meant to. But this is, like I said, it's all like very divinely guided. And this person kind of thinks to themselves that like, I think they're kind of bitter about this because they were like, well, fine, I was trying to offer you this like little flower here in the past, but like you didn't want to see it, you didn't want to take it. And I just want to say, no, they didn't. Okay, this was not a sincere try, like on this person's side, but they like to think that they tried. And I just want to kind of validate you here on that, because I mean, look at this body language here between the Fool and the Queen of Wands. It's like take this flower if you want it, but they're kind of moving in an opposite direction than you. And now I don't know, like notice, like just look at the face of the Fool, like they've got their nose in the air and they're just kind of like, fine, whatever. So this person may have actually felt rejected by you here in the past. But I feel like whenever this person was like, you know what, fine, and then they were trying to move away from you and your energy and moving away from your social media, well, then this person fell off this cliff here in some capacity, which makes me think that like something here kind of like went wrong in their life. And for some of you, they married another person or they chose somebody else over you. It's like they went on a different kind of a path or like a timeline, and it is a lower one because and then they tried to like rush forward here, like towards their visions and towards their dreams. And I feel like that is actually the energy that has reconnected them here with your social media. That's why they're like watching you again and keeping up with you, because I feel like you are a person who you have all this like expansive, you follow your dreams, you follow your gut, you're very intuitive. You have a lot of fire energy. There's something of a dharma to you where like you've come alive, you're engaging with your passions, you're following spirit. And this person doesn't quite understand that, I think this person would understand following their gut, and maybe following their impulses like to their detriment. But like I said, they don't have that like kind of elevated spiritual perspective. And this is the energy that you're in. And I feel like spirit is kind of, you are being used as a teacher here for this person. Even if you don't see yourself in that capacity and you don't like sit down in front of a chalkboard, watching you live your life from this place is actually healing this person, is what I'm hearing. And it's helping them to elevate, and to circle back around here in order to overcome the poisons of their past life. And for some of you, I feel like this person may actually have a drinking problem, and that could be how they're watching you. It's like this person gets a little bit drunk in front of the TV or something like that, and then they pull up your stuff on your phone. And I feel like that is such a potent teaching tool for this person, because the difference between your energy and your life and theirs is really stark. It's marked, kind of like in that particular place where they're kind of in their low energy and you're vibrating so high, and they're able to, I don't know, there's something of a teaching tool kind of involved in that. But this person is trying to go after their dreams, and they see you as some kind of like inspiration or guiding light, because they want what you have in terms of like the experience of it, the feeling of it, right? Now, they may also like want to reach out and say they're sorry, or give you like some kind of a cute little message or something here like that. This person may also have felt like you chose somebody else over them, somebody that was like scheming or but for others of you, I'm getting like this is another aspect here of this person in like the Fool energy. It's this Five of Swords energy where they're kind of like scheming around, or they were trying to get your attention or maneuver around you. They were being like weird or strategic. And again, that's spirit is just calling them out on this. They were like, and that's what this person called offering you their flower. That's what they think they were doing, is like offering you this flower. But really, they were in this Five of Swords energy. They were actually very distant from their heart space, very distant from their love space. And they were trying to win. They were trying to like maneuver around you here in some way. And that's because, again, like they're stuck in these like lower chakras, and the lower chakras are beautiful and the lower chakras are spiritual, but it's like it all works together as like a whole. The other thing that I do want to tell you is that this is not the only person watching your social media. Like, I feel like this person is connected to these two other energies, and these two other energies, They may also be watching your social media, although I think it's more likely that they're just noticing a change here in this person that you're asking about, a shift in their attitude. They're no longer as easily controlled by these other two energies, you know? It could be like family members, but this is like very low vibrational energy that gets all of them together. And I just heard Spirit say to me that this little trio that they've got going on here, it's very scorpionic, first of all. Like it's hidden, secretive. It's like that's part of the poisons of their past life, and it remains unseen here to this person. This needs to get broken up. If this person is going to elevate, and maybe in some way this is like Spirit trying to do that. I also feel like there's a bit of a paradox here that you are healing this person, and I don't know why that is. It could be because they're meant to be healing you, like because they're older, or maybe you're asking about a parent here in this situation, or this person's more highly educated, or maybe they're educated as a healer, or something like that. But it's paradoxical that you are healing this person for some reason. And I might not have hit on the reason here, but it just seems like there's kind of a running joke about that, or it's like it's funny, or it's nice. Like it's honestly nice because, like I said, you have the higher cup here, and I'm hearing Bejeweled by Taylor Swift. You know that when she says, nice, I polish up real, I polish up real nice. And this person thinks that you polish up real nice. This person thinks you look really, really good too. There's a lot of sexual attraction here, and I do feel like they want you in that way. And like I said, if they're in some kind of another connection here, I don't want to spend too much time talking on this, but it is born of this like lower energy here. Maybe that's part of these people. I get the sense that there's people trying to control this person. And it works because they're in the lower energies, and they care about power, and they care about domination and how they come across and their confidence and stuff. So this person has been willing to debase themselves for that, like for a quick fix in that here in the past. But because of your influence, because they're getting this like higher perspective, they're less and less likely to do that. They know it's not going to get them anywhere. And I think the more that they put this into practice, the more clarity they get, the more they move away from their vices, and the happier this person feels. And I feel like they're actually being encouraged to end a cycle here, and to make certain decisions, maybe even on spirituality here with this unseen card, and or to understand that there's things that they haven't seen here in the past about their own behavior, their own vices, and these other lower energies that they keep around them. And maybe somebody around them that they thought was a healer, that they thought was an elevated perspective, and they thought was, there's somebody that people orbit this person, like these two people. I don't know. But yeah, so they just have stragglers that could potentially be drawn to your energy here as well, and I just don't want you to be blindsided by that. I'm hearing evil eye, because they could potentially, even if they don't lash out, which these people are all more than capable of doing, every single one of them, even this person you're asking about, they are very capable of being reactionary and falling prey to those lower natures. They don't want to see it, right? And whenever they do, they just kind of dismiss it like, oh, that was really nothing. Like they just take it as very lightweight energy. They don't see it as this Five of Swords energy, which it absolutely is. But even if they don't lash out, there's still this just like very evil eye kind of an energy here, that so you're giving third eye energy and they're reciprocating with evil eye energy. And honestly, I feel like Spirit even has a hand in this, because I feel like you are elevating to where that's not affecting you as much, or you're learning how to deal with that energy and transmute it or something here like that. So this person is definitely watching your social media. They may watch the social media of your family members here too, like especially if you know that they know your family or something like that. But this person overall really does like what they see. It might make them feel a little bit bad or a little bit jealous, or like they missed the boat on you, here in the past. And I've been hearing Spirit say they need to grapple with these feelings. It's a part of their healing journey. It's a part of their healing experience. It's also a part of them seeing themselves clearly, and their past clearly, and the decisions that they've made in the past clearly, and starting to kind of understand the difference in timelines, and like that they need to start vibrating and resonating. Like I think this is meant to actually like really solidify for this person. You are resonating on a certain frequency. Look what it's brought you, because it has brought this person destruction here. I think this person has been very impulsive in the past, because they were just so eager to succeed in some way. Like they've definitely not really tapped into their own energy and been reflective. They were always just kind of like chasing something. And I think for a lot of them, they were chasing wealth, some kind of like fantasy, a nice house, maybe sex. They've been like chasing these like lower chakra things without questioning it, going as hard as they possibly could. And they maybe made some foolish moves here, and Spirit has been trying to get their attention. And I think part of like this person doing their reflecting work is they're starting to remember little intuitive hits that they got. And you might mention this, you know, like, oh yeah, like on your travels or something, you're like, my intuition told me to stop at this little food place and it was the best experience of my life and I ended up meeting my best friend there or something. This person is just like kind of remembering little intuitive hits that they've had along the way that maybe they ignored. And this is a part of them kind of sifting through their own energy and starting to realize that the decisions they've made and the energy that they've chosen to be in has actual literal repercussions. And I think for a lot of you, maybe that you feel like this is the one that got away for you as well. Like this is also maybe a potential other timeline. Like if this person had risen to their potential, that you guys actually would have been together. Maybe you feel that energy towards them as well. And you are meant to be doing the same thing here, if that's the case, like from your own perspective of maybe you have built a really happy life for yourself, you know, and because this person's situation that they're in with family, it feels like with family. So whether that's a partner situation or somebody else, it's very much an argumentative space. And the energy between these people is that they'll grow further and further apart. Like they may spend a lot more time apart, but this feels like traveling and being in like completely different places from each other. They'll spend more time doing that. But like just the emotional space between the two of them, it doesn't get stronger over time. It gets weakened and more like drawn out. And I think this person feels like it wouldn't be that way with you. Because you do have this higher perspective, you know, and you're leading them by the right road is what I want to say. So yeah, this is really beautiful energy. This person feels like you have a carefree, nonchalant attitude. I feel like this person thinks that you don't miss them and that you just like up and left. There's like a feeling of you just being very like carefree, very happy-go-lucky, nonchalant, maybe even like a hippie, a tumbleweed blowing around in the wind, you know, just like kind of living your best life and maybe even being very sexual or something like that. But this person thinks about a moment in the past where you had some kind of sudden shift or change into this energy. And also what I want to say, because this person's not observant. And if they think they're observant, it's like they don't have high quality observance of people and their decisions and their inner workings and stuff. This is not a person who spends a lot of time in that space. So I don't know if this change in you is as drastic as they think it is, or if it's always kind of been there. And this person, because I don't know, I just get this sense that they were trying to maintain their own like power in the situation and their own dignity. So they came off like this to you. I don't think they quite realized that. Of just my body is moving in this direction and I'm holding out this one kind of dingy flower, you know, and I guess you didn't want to take that because there's something wrong with you, but then like who would take that, you know, like from this person in this energy, you know, it's not really, so this person really does see you standing in your power. Let's get some messages here from this person. Oh, I'm depressed. I knew it. This person, maybe they need healing. I feel like this person could use like just going to the doctor to see like to check their levels, you know, and especially if they've been drinking, like maybe they're depleting their minerals and their, you know, all their good stuff here. I admire how hard you work. I wish you wouldn't push me away. I think this person feels like you're pushing them away. And in reality, I just don't feel like you guys were vibrating on the same like level. I think you did kind of outgrow this person I don't know like what happened on your side of it. Maybe you were just kind of like living your best life and but you still think about this person, you know? Obviously you're here. Like I secretly admire you. You are the reason I keep going. You are a huge inspiration for this person and you were meant to be. And I'm hearing Spirit knew that. Spirit knew you always would be, that if this person could see you clearly, that they would follow your energy. That's okay. And follow is a social media thing. So this person follows you. Right? But maybe you just still don't know that they're not like liking stuff and they're not like leaving comments and things. So you probably just don't know that they're following you. But Spirit knew that this person would find a lot to be inspired by here in your energy, and that what they kind of envision for themselves is you. Either like it is you, or it's very similar to the life that you lead and that you have envisioned and that you've gone after it for yourself. And I feel like, you know, Spirit is kind of breadcrumbing this person, not in the bad way, but like Hansel and Gretel, like, oh, I don't want to forget my path, you know? But it's like with the white rabbit. And just like the Alice in Wonderland story, I feel like everything seems so foreign. You really seem so foreign to this person. Maybe to the person that you were in the past, but this feels like in a good way. And but you're so different than them, and you're just opening up their eyes to like how big life is and can be and how exciting it can be. And there's a lot of guidance energy here, and I just feel like you're changing them. You're giving them ideas as well. This person, Jupiter Sun is very dominant in a philosophy, and you have a dominant philosophy, but maybe this person is like, they have a very rigid philosophy as well. I'm scared of commitment and I'm scared you're moving on. Well, you don't get to be scared somebody's moving on if you're not going to commit. That's my first thought. Maybe that's why you moved on. And that was mean because this person is actually like in a very tender heart space. Like I can feel that. This is very real for them. They're not saying it to like jerk you around or anything, but yeah, they are scared of committing to you. But look, oh my gosh, every song reminds me of you. I'm ready. I'm not ready. You're on my mind the most. Like they just think about it. And part of it is like not even necessarily committing to you, but committing to their own highest and best path and actually making the changes, the shifts and changes that they know they kind of need to make in order to take the higher cup and to stop some of them literally taking the lower cup, which is like just, drinking too much all the time and kind of numbing themselves out where I feel like they want their faculties to be sharper. I'm falling in love. You're the reason I keep going. Yeah, this is nice too because it's like you're an inspiration here to this person. Like this is love and respect and admiration, and I see myself in you and I want to grow the way that you're growing, and I wish we could grow together. And yeah, I'm hearing keep up. Like I always hear that. There's a part in Pride and Prejudice where they're touring through that big fancy house that Mr. Darcy owns, and they walk through that like museum space, and she's very like taken by all the artwork and everything. So she kind of trails behind, and that woman she's like, keep up. And I hear that, like, keep up, So I feel like this person is like just kind of hypnotized by everything that they're seeing going on around you. I'm hearing, how could I have missed this in this person before? And I think that's a legitimate question for this person to be asking because I'm hearing you should know it, but you don't pay attention. That comes from a song, but I don't know which one it is. But this person does pay attention to the lower chakra things. They see through the lower chakra things of what could bring them power, fame, fortune, admiration, but they don't really see people. It's been beneath them or hasn't been worth their time because it's not been, so they think, in alignment with their goals. So you have a very different perspective here than this person. But that's what I have for you guys, pile number 1. If that resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys. pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So I'm filming this during Mercury retrograde, and I, for whatever reason, am having the most Mercury retrogradiest experience that I have ever had filming a reading. I mean, everything has gone wrong in this particular pile from top to bottom. I filmed it originally the first time. I have no idea where that is. I've had to refilm it, and then pieces of it have been lost, and it's like garbled and it's not making sense. So I'm having to refilm the beginning here. So if you notice that the cards are all moving around, I'm wearing different clothes, that's why. And honestly, I feel like this is a part of your reading because I think a lot has gone wrong here in this connection to an extreme degree where it's like you almost can't even fathom like what has happened here, like what has garbled the communication. And I do feel like maybe there was some kind of like sudden communication that occurred during a Mercury retrograde here, whether you knew about that or not, like whether you pay attention to Mercury retrograde or not. And I really just think things have gone completely sideways. So I'm just trying to onboard you here to the rest of the reading. And I do want to apologize if I repeat myself like later on in the reading, because I kind of can't remember what I've said and what I haven't said. I mean, I sort of can, but I'm just going to try to onboard you here to the rest of the reading. So here in this pile, like with the Wheel of Fortune card here at the bottom of the deck and this Uranus energy coming in at the top, this tells me that I feel like this message is actually fated for you to receive this so that Spirit can unearth certain truths here about this dynamic and about each of you and about what's gone on here at this particular time in order to completely shift and change the way it is that you're viewing what's gone on here in the situation and the other person, in order to assist you in your processing and to help you mend your broken heart here in this situation, because there is a sense of there being an injustice in the situation as to how things have gone down between the two of you, because we've got two people here who love each other very much. This is a strong soulmate connection. And then you feel very deeply for each other, but then you've hurt each other very deeply here as well. And it is because of this communication situation. And there's like this overall tone, and I think it's kind of a hallmark here of this connection, of feeling entirely blindsided. You both have had these experiences where somebody says something, or with this Uranus energy, something's revealed here that was hidden or secret, sexual, strategic, financial, power dynamics, control, right? And it's not much, it's just like a flash. So you have each had these like certain experiences that then completely shift and change 180 degrees very suddenly how you're thinking and feeling about the other person. And these are not just any feelings either. These are very deep feelings that you almost don't even really know where they come from, but it's because this is a strong, high-level soulmate connection that is really here at the center of this reading. Now, the thing that we've got to talk about here before we can actually address this is what's gone on here on this feminine side, because it really cannot be overstated what this whole situation we've got going on over here for her, how that has impacted the situation here. And in terms of like the energy going on between these two soulmates, in terms of the actions that were taken, and in terms of the outcomes. And it's not to say that this is all her fault. Definitely not. It's just that I feel like this is part of the unearthing of like truly understanding for both of you, because I do think for a lot of you, you are this maiden energy that I'm describing here in this reading. It's just that Spirit has brought you here to the reading in order for you to better understand yourself and maybe what you've said or done and why you feel like you acted out of character or said something strange or weird or awkward that you feel like completely changed the situation here. Because I think you do kind of blame yourself because you know your walls were up here in this situation. But the reason your walls were up is what we've got to talk about here. So we've got to kind of talk about this side situation. So, okay, in order to explain this, we have to understand that there seems to be a lot of sexual interest here in both the masculine and feminine energies here involved in this very high level soulmate connection. It's just that this extra sexual interest isn't showing up as a problem here necessarily for the masculine. And what I mean by that is he doesn't feel like he needs to defend himself from it or like he's under threat here in any way. But I do feel like he has gotten himself involved here with at least one other person, potentially two. And these people have now become a problem for this feminine energy over here. And these ultimately, him getting himself involved with these people is causing him a problem with this feminine energy. But again, he's not under threat from anything else like related to it. You know, it's just, it is compromising his connection here, like with this feminine energy. And I don't think he quite necessarily realizes that. But these people or person, take it however it resonates, can clearly see his interest in her. And he's given them a reason to feel territorial over him. And I don't think it was even very much, because I'm hearing just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough. So these are people who like maybe they're so fixated on him and they feel so territorial and possessive over him, where it's like, if you just give me any reason to believe that you're interested in me and that you like me or whatever, that this could potentially work, like I'm gonna hold on and I'm gonna fight for this connection, and honestly I'm gonna become a thorn in your side. So these people kind of like become a hidden enemy to him, because they are actually, especially this person here, like if there is more than one, there's definitely a person who's more aggressive and more forthright. They are absolutely communicating to this feminine, and this comes across as like that very feminine form of communication, where even like social anthropologists have said that women have their own way of communicating, where like a lot of the men in the room don't even realize like necessarily what's going on. So this is definitely being communicated here to this feminine energy, like back off, he's mine. Like even if it's just through dirty looks, you know, and through being very obstinate in terms of like positioning themselves next to him, between them. It's very like, I think there's a lot of communication with body language and facial expressions and very like threatening looks, you know, that's going on here. But this is a person who feels very arrogant because of their association here with this masculine energy, but they also feel very insecure about it. And that because of that, they're feeling very defensive, because at the end of the day, they do know that this masculine has an interest in somebody else. And ultimately, you know, I think we can have compassion here for this other person, because, you know, they're setting themselves up for heartbreak by trying to hold on to something and someone that really ultimately is not invested in them in the long run. And that's a really difficult karmic lesson, you know, here overall. So this has now created more eyes, more attention, more problems, more reason for this feminine to defend herself here in this position. And that seems to be the central issue over here for this feminine energy, because there is something here about her karmas with a lot of people that kind of places her in this like almost victim martyr stance. And that's what I feel like she's learning kind of how to bust out of here. And the reason this is going on is because in terms of the karmas, this feminine energy has very positive karma in terms of relationships and sociability and stuff. But there's a lot of people surrounding her that do not have positive karma. They have very negative karma in terms of their relationship stuff. And I feel like they have negative karma in direct relationship to her. So these other people here, and there's a lot of them, because there's a lot of interest here in this feminine energy, a lot of eyes on her. And to be honest, like the majority of this interest is actually very positive. And these are people who are healthy and sane and self-respecting, and they're not, and they respect other people and their boundaries, and they're not going to take any kind of like harmful action here towards this feminine. But there are those few influences, you know, even one influence in this hunter energy is too much. So this is like a very aggressive, bullish, self-centered, opportunistic energy that is very much in pursuit here of this feminine energy. And she has to very much deal with this. So I am hearing like, I think there's an ex here that is in very negative energy, and he feels kind of like, or she, take it how it resonates, feels very like locked out because of probably they cheated, and so now they feel like they're the underdog and they have to you know, be very strategic in order to try to get this person back. And they are very much trying to do that. But I feel like this feminine energy has very strongly like blocked them out. And she seems to be very protected from this individual. But I'm also hearing that this feminine is being pursued here by an older woman for some reason. And for some of these feminine energies, I feel like it could potentially be their mother, because there is a strong like protective dominant mother force here around this feminine energy, but it's like very extreme. For some of these feminine energies, mama is like genuine. She's a great person. She's a protector. She's been in this maiden energy herself. She has learned how to, I think we're about to have an interruption here, but like I said, with the Mercury retrograde, I'm not going to stop. So she has actually transformed herself, and she understands this energy, and she's genuinely a protector and a source of strength here for this feminine energy. But there's the opposite extreme where for some of these feminines, where mom seems like she's a protective force, but it's like under the guise of nurturing, she's actually very controlling and sabotaging. And so she could potentially be the older woman here who is in pursuit of this feminine energy in one way or another. Either way, there's very threatening energy here around this feminine. And because people do seem to kind of like fixate here on her energy in a way that is lustful, and I don't entirely mean that just sexually speaking. There is definitely that influence here, but lust is that really like I'm craving, I'll do anything to get it. It's like you don't really consider yourself, your position, how you want to behave. Like there's certain lines I won't cross. It's just this like very fixated pursuit here. And it could be, there's a lot of strategy around this energy. And it could be like sex, finances, promotions, power, whatever it is. And this energy, I'm going to be really, really honest, okay? Some of you who have come here to this reading, you are this person where there was a moment where you felt like you needed to shoot your shot. You felt like, her guard was down, or it was a time for you to shoot your shot. And so you took some kind of like opportunistic, very strong, selfish, action here towards this feminine energy. And again, it could have been sexually strategic, it could have been financially strategic, but whatever it was, it was very blindsiding. It was like a very sudden shock. It was out of the blue, out of left field here on this feminine side. Like she was really not expecting things to go the way that they went, in whatever direction that was. It really threw her for a loop. I don't think it was out of the blue for you. I think there was like a strategy, there was kind of some thought about this, even if it was impulsive to take a certain action in a certain moment, because you recognized that her guard was down, that she was vulnerable. And if that is the case, the rest of this reading, when we're going to get into the soulmate connection, this is not your reading. And this is part of the fated message that's meant to come in here for you to understand, is that love does not behave this way. Love gives people their choice. Love doesn't wait for the moment that there's someone's guard is down in order to capitalize on a selfish, opportunistic action. And so Spirit is telling you in no uncertain terms, you need to leave this feminine energy alone. You're done. I'm hearing you are done. You need to be put here into this hermit mode. You need to go within, and you need to pull your energy and attention away from this space and start focusing it in on yourself, and start asking yourself the hard questions, and looking at it for the first time. I'm hearing for once, you need to look at it from this feminine energy's perspective and point of view. What it was that she felt, how it must have felt for her to be treated in the way that you did, and to not be considered, and to not to be thought about, to be seen as an object or a trophy or an objective in whatever way here for somebody else. Because I can see that you took whatever action you did here because for whatever reason, and this it doesn't add up, okay? Like, I love you, and I can understand you're going through like this process, and I want the best for you in this. And that's why I'm speaking so plainly to you now, is that I can see on your end that in some way you thought that taking this very sudden opportunistic action towards this feminine energy would result in some kind of contract or binding or long-term relationship here with this feminine energy. And so there's, similar to the soulmate connection, there are these very intense feelings over here that have very suddenly shifted. But this was like feeling that they were safe around you. I'm hearing, I was thinking that you could be trusted. Bad Blood by Taylor Swift. Now there's Bad Blood over here. I was thinking that you could be trusted, and then bam, this thing happened. And I realized that you're a hunter, that you are a strategist, that you are strategic, that you don't care about me at all. And then she probably very suddenly closed the door here on this connection because she feels betrayed and she feels hurt, and now she has to heal herself in this situation. And then I think for you, again, it's kind of mimicking the soul connection. So you could potentially, if I wasn't calling this out now, you could potentially mix yourself up here in this space. And Spirit has really had it with that. Spirit is like, no, we all need to be doing our work here. So for you, you've also had this very sudden shift and change in your feelings here towards this feminine energy, because her shutting the door on you made you feel betrayed, because you felt entitled. You thought that your strategy was going to end you up in a long-term relationship, and then when that didn't happen, you felt betrayed. But that is entitlement, and it is empathy blindness is what I'm being told. Like, you're not giving this feminine energy her choice. So you've deeply hurt this feminine energy. And the truth of it, from spiritual terms, is you betrayed this feminine energy. This is your negative karma. You were meant to be clearing this up here with this feminine energy. So there's no more toleration of this. You need to detach yourself from the space and go inwards. And here's the next part that's like actually really, really important for you to understand, okay? This is the next part of the message where your guide team is coming in and saying, look, you've reached the end of the road with this. This feminine energy is not watching your social media because she's healing, because you've put her in a position where she has to heal. Now, if you cannot disengage from this space on your own, there's going to be an external influence that forces you into this hermitude. And I feel like there's a sense here that somebody's watching you or somebody's watching your social media. Either this is already occurring or this could potentially happen here in the near future, and it's going to be this ambushing energy, very sudden, very shocking, very unexpected, very out of the blue. Because I'm hearing in no uncertain terms, if this is your energy that we're talking about here, right? You have skeletons in your closet, and Spirit is just saying, look, these things have a way of coming out, okay? And so there's a sense that you are going to be pursued just as relentlessly as you pursued this feminine energy. And whoever is following you here, because this doesn't have to be, this could potentially be like a partner, you know, so say you have a partner and you're cheating on that person and you're traveling somewhere to do it and you're spending money and everything. This could potentially be like a partner following you, following the money, putting the pieces together, hiring an investigator, to pursue you or something like that. It could be a situation here like that. If you have done something illegal or against the rules, like in your company or something like that, there potentially could be eyes on you in that way. But I'm hearing it's like this I'm hearing like could have been an accidental message or something that was sent, again, during Mercury retrograde, or something that you weren't kind of quite aware of, that tipped people off that there was something going on here that shouldn't have been. Because I feel like you are being watched in terms of your travel, in terms of your communication, in terms of like things that are hidden or secret, sexual, financial, strategic power dynamics, something here like that. You are also being followed here in a way that's going to cause this kind of like sudden ending. And it's so that you learn your lesson here in this situation, so that if you won't empathize with this, and you can't just, through empathy, you can learn this lesson, fully. But if you need help to understand why this is wrong and why this isn't love, why this doesn't feel good, I feel like you have to be the prey. You were the hunter, now you have to be the prey, here in this situation. And your guides are really wanting to work with you on this and not against you. But this is like, again, it's a very strong message to come in, because this energy over here, these karmic energies, not being cleared up is it's really drained this feminine energy, and her walls have gone up, and then that's in turn affect this really strong soulmate connection that we've got going on here. So that concludes this like kind of first little bit here, and now you can explore the rest of this reading. I'm so sorry once again if this is a really choppy reading and it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because again, I've just been struggling with Mercury retrograde, and I hope this made sense, and I hope this was helpful to you. Enjoy the rest of the reading. Bye, guys. So now let's take a look at this very intense, high-level soulmate connection that is the crown jewel of pile number 2, because I feel like it's this connection and only this connection that Spirit wants to be addressing here in pile number 2. It's just that in order to reveal the truth of what's going on here in this situation and anything going on here with the social media and how these two feel about each other, Spirit has to address this side situation that has been going on here around this feminine maiden energy, because it cannot be overstated the level of impact that this situation, and honestly, it's more of a climate. Think of it less as like one or two like random instances, could potentially be, but there's more of just this climate here around this feminine energy of really people who are, I just heard the word insecure, but like they kind of target her, and it's really a lot to deal with. So it can't be overstated the level of impact this situation has had on the energy, the actions, and the outcome here between these two high-level soulmates. Because at the very least, this feminine energy has had to expend an enormous amount of energy in order to protect herself and process whatever has gone on here. And there's also the potential here for there to be this like sudden, jarring, unexpected ambush kind of an energy that results in her betrayal, that then anytime that would happen here, she has to then expend more energy in order to heal herself. Then her walls very naturally go up, which is a healthy, appropriate, necessary response to dealing with this energy. And when her walls go up, then I feel like this masculine energy feels very personally rejected, in this space. And because he takes that as a personal rejection, then now his 8th house has been activated. Like I'm hearing his like low self-esteem, like so low self-esteem wounds, fear of inadequacy, not being enough, all of that gets kicked up, and then he goes into his own tailspin and spiral, which he's got some really unhealthy coping mechanisms over here, which we'll talk about in just a second. But basically, him feeling this way, now she's picking up on that, and now we have this very wobbly, reactionary, hot potato, unstable kind of an energetic flow going on here between these two high-level soulmates. And it's really a shame, because I think these two people feel very deeply for one another, and they don't want to hurt each other, but I think they've hurt each other very deeply here in this scenario. So there has been some kind of sudden ending or sudden death to this situation. And like I said in the beginning, I feel like a lot of you are this maiden energy that I'm talking about here, and Spirit has brought you here to this reading in order to unearth a lot of this stuff to help you heal this. And one of the things that I don't think that you quite understand, I think you blame yourself here for your walls being up in this situation, because maybe you know this. You tend to know that your walls being up in this situation contributed to you like acting or saying something that was very unusual or awkward or weird or like out of character, something like that you attribute, I think, directly, but potentially just contributed to. But I think you contribute this to the direct ending and like sudden death here of this very high level soulmate connection. But what you're not understanding here is that this whole situation here from your past is like comprised of karmics. You have a lot of people here, because your karma in terms of relationships and sociability and communication is high. It's really, really good. And you've got energy here of like victim, martyr. And I think this is, again, like your past karmas here with like, frankly, a lot of people. So all of these people here in this, whatever the hell this is that you've been dealing with, okay? These people are essentially karmics. They owe you their own karmic lessons. They have to be clearing that with you. And I think, frankly, there's quite a few of these people in a lot of different positions of your life. And some of them have not done that, and because they're meant to be responsible for their own behavior. They need to learn how to love you well. They need to not fixate so much on your energy or target you and predate upon your energy or, anything like that. These people need to be going inwards, dealing with themselves directly and growing in their own wisdom. And because they haven't done that, essentially you are dealing with a lot of their baggage, a lot of their energy, which means that you then don't have the energy that you need to deal with your own life and to be dealing with your own soulmate connection here. So I just hope that you try not to blame yourself, because there's a lot more pieces going on here where, yeah, you may feel like, well, I was guarded and I said this weird thing and then I never, we never, he retaliated, because that's how this would go. But in terms of the social media stuff, right, there's definitely has been this sudden ending, and there's a lot of passion and emotion, a depth of feeling here on both sides. So it makes sense that you would wonder if this person's watching your social media. Now, this feminine energy, I kind of feel like it's the same over here, where I don't think she's watching this masculine energy's social media, because I think this masculine retaliates with sex. So he could have like hooked up with somebody else or gotten another girlfriend or boyfriend like very suddenly and very soon after like something happened here. There's just a feeling that if she were to go onto his social media, that she would have to see a lot of maybe hookups or flings, or wondering who it is that he's hooking up with. Because maybe this is a guy where it's like you have to wonder about every person in his pictures, whether or not it's like a casual thing or not. It could be one of those situations. There could be a particular significant other here, and she just expects that she's going to be confronted with that, and she's very serious about her own healing and, again, protecting herself here in this space. So I feel like she's not watching his social media, but that does not mean that she does not care and that she's not affected very deeply here by what's gone on, because I actually feel like this is a feminine energy where it's like all she wants, and I think she's like dreaming about this or daydreaming about this, all she wants from this masculine energy is for him to say something or do something. I just heard, say something, I'm giving up on you. So all she wants is for him to say something that's going to change her mind. She wants him to say the right thing or do the right thing that she needs to hear in order to feel safe, honestly, in this situation, to know that she can put her walls down here around him. But the catch with that is that she can't tell him what that is, because if she does that, then it's not a reflection on his character, and that he knows her and that he understands where she's coming from and that she's safe. She wants to know she's safe. So if she gives him the answer to the test, then, and it's not really a test, it is more just like she's waiting to see if she's safe. And she comes by this energy very, very honestly, but all she wants is for this guy to really change her mind so that she can, I feel like there could have potentially been an offer here on the table, or that was thought about, or something here like that. Now, In terms of this masculine energy, though, I do feel like this masculine energy is watching this feminine energy social media, but there's also a sense of him maybe having been blocked out, him looking through a keyhole, I think this masculine energy has been maneuvered into hermit energy, so maybe has gotten a lot of time alone or is spending a lot of time alone, and he does feel like the underdog here in this situation, but he's like very strategic, and that's something to understand about this guy too. But he's trying to strategize a way to like get back in, or to maybe send a message or communicate something like that. So I do feel like this masculine energy potentially is watching social media, but there's a sense of it being like a drip, or like maybe, like, I don't know. It's like maybe you have him blocked, but then you have other friends in common. So whenever your friends post pictures of you, like, well, then he can see that. It's something here like that. Yeah, so that's definitely the social media question here. But now, like, let's back up. Let's really, like, kind of look at this connection. So you both feel incredibly deeply for one another here, which makes you both feel very vulnerable, which then makes you put your guards up. And you each have different ways that you put your guards up, but the first line of defense is the same, which is under no circumstances do you let the other person know just how deeply you feel for them overall, but potentially it's like not letting the other person know how deeply you were impacted by whatever was said or whatever was revealed here, or like this sudden ending here in this space, because you both really were very hopeful here about this connection, and you were both like, just, I want to say, like, absolutely devastated by whatever this like very sudden change moment happened, like, for each of you, because remember I said it could potentially be different moments for both of you, but you've been deeply, deeply hurt and wounded, and I think it's gone on for a lot longer than you've let on. You've really had to grieve and process this situation here for yourselves, and you don't want the other person to know, because I think you're both very like socially savvy people, and you do kind of understand that it's not really cool. It's not really like attractive, to seem so affected by another person. And so you're trying to maintain that kind of cool stance. But what that ends up doing is it affects the communication here in this situation, and it also affects decisions and how things kind of unfold, because each of you are looking out. You're trying to shield, which then becomes like a film over your lens here in the situation. So you're seeing everything through that lens of your fears and your self-esteem issues and your illusions. And also because in terms of, I think despite your best attempts at communicating here and your best intentions to communicate, because you both really do want this lover's situation, you want this to work out, you really, really do. Despite your best attempts at that, this becomes like a jumbled mess here in terms of communication, because not because you need to use better words and be more specific, and not necessarily because of that. It's because of this unwillingness to be truly vulnerable, and Spirit is equating this with a type of honesty, because you're not willing to be honest in this situation and risk your heart here. That's what this is all about, is taking this big risk here with this other person. And actually making yourself vulnerable, because neither of you are really willing to do that. You both are getting the impression that the other person is not taking this connection as seriously as you would like for them to, in order for you to feel comfortable risking your heart. Because you need to see more from the other person than you would even in another relationship, because you feel so deeply. This is reminding me of something my dad said when I was a kid, because he sat my sister and I down to talk about, boys and dating and relationships and stuff. And he was like, all right, I've been thinking about this a lot, how I want to, explain this to you. And here's his exact approach. He needs to ask you out in this way. It needs to have this tone. It needs, like, he was very, very specific. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but he said, and the reason I'm saying like he needs to approach you in this particular way is because I'm just worried that if he doesn't do that, then he's just not going to appreciate you enough. And then my little sister says, well, what if he doesn't approach you in that specific way, but you really, 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 really like him? And my dad goes, then it's even more important that you say no, because he could really hurt you. And I'm not entirely sure that that's good advice, but I think it is a good sentiment to kind of just think about and consider and keep in mind. But I feel like that's what's going on here in this situation, is like you both recognize that, oh my gosh, like this other person has power over you. That's how you're synthesizing your feelings. And that's really what vulnerability is realizing that, wait a minute, I don't actually have control over my feelings. I don't get to choose, who and what situation I have what particular feelings for, because feelings rise up as data. They tell you about your life and about your situation, about how you're feeling in any given moment to help you steer, guide, and navigate. It's not something that you get to choose whether or not you experience it, you know? And so I think that is where both of you maybe feel like the other person is considering, you know, other people or other options, but really it's just that you're not seeing the level of feeling from the other person. And it's crazy because you really do need to be communicating about this directly, because then when you don't communicate about it directly, I think that each of you are dialing in on these like weird, random, tiny little things that the other person says. Like, I'm hearing idiosyncrasies. You're trying to like dial into like, well, what did that smile mean? What did that gesture mean? Well, you know, they said this, but then they didn't say that. And you're trying to extrapolate like this depth of information. It's just not the way, because both of you, because you feel so vulnerable, Scorpio rules over power dynamics. Power dynamics make you lead with strategy. You both are doing this to a certain extent or another, even though you feel so deeply for each other, as a way of kind of like, you know, guarding against being hurt, right? So then when you're not seeing that level of reciprocation, then the other defense mechanisms kick in. She withdraws into her shell, which I've already said is a trigger here for this masculine energy, but his defenses are actually strange. They're, as a female, I find this to be very strange, and this would be very confusing for you to witness and then try to kind of piece together, because this is a masculine energy who doesn't really know how to manage his emotions. This feminine energy is a very good internal processor. She can withdraw within to herself. She knows how to meet her emotions, feel her emotions, process her emotions, even if she's down for the count for a while. And, you know, maybe she's, you know, feeling like really, really low in this situation, she still can do this. But this masculine energy isn't so good at that. And you can see why, because I'm not making excuses for this behavior, but, you know, we live in a culture that does not really advocate or teach men that it's important to understand your emotions. So they're down this entire system for navigating life. And it's so crazy because men actually think that's a position of strength, and that it makes them like stronger and more manly to not fully inhabit their being and understand themselves and be able to function in all of their capacities, which is wild to me. And it leads to a lot of like really bad outcomes. So I feel like because this masculine energy there's kind of like a stuntedness in terms of social emotional intelligence, he actually uses sex to regulate his emotions, which means that, you know, when he got blindsided by how deeply he felt for this feminine energy, he may have like slept with other people in order to try to convince himself that, again, she doesn't have the power over him that she does, or that, he doesn't feel as deeply for her as he does. Maybe he just thought he was like really horny. I don't know. So he could have like tried to do that in order to like basically run from this situation. But also when she says something, because she affects him so deeply, you know, that makes him feel scared and makes him feel like, you know, maybe he's not going to get what he wants in the situation, then I think he is actually very prone to maybe like cheating, you know, going out, having a one night stand, or again, when things end, like getting another significant other, like very quickly. And that would confuse this feminine energy. And he is actually, there's layers to this, because on one level, he is trying to ricochet his pain back at her so he doesn't have to feel it, because he's leading with strategy. And that's kind of the way he deals with feeling something in the heart space, is like by leading with strategy, because it's almost like he does have, like, because he has these feelings, okay, and he does have them, very deep feelings here towards this feminine energy. He doesn't want to lead with the vulnerability. That's like really not an option, because maybe it makes him feel not manly or like weak or, you know, at a disadvantage. He doesn't want her to take advantage of him or not take him seriously, you know. So instead he comes up with this strategy. Now, if he leads with strategy, he can focus on the strategy instead of focusing on the feelings. Does that make sense? So I think this is a masculine who actually is inclined to make the first move. But the problem here between these two is the first move needs to be made in vulnerability. There's like making the first move in terms of, you know, asking somebody out or something, that really doesn't count as the first move here in this situation, because the first move needs to be the person who's going to put their guard down and lead with vulnerability and say, I really, really like you. And just like the scorpionic energy, the highest vibration of that is the phoenix. Just standing in the storm and saying, if you're going to destroy me, destroy me. I'm going to stand here in that, and I'm not going to retaliate, because this is also, so like I was saying, back to the strategy, he feels very deeply, and so then he formulates this strategy. I'm going to approach in this way or whatever. So if it doesn't work out, then he can blame the strategy and not himself. Like, he doesn't have to say, you know, maybe I wasn't good enough or whatever. It's like, there's something wrong with the strategy. I can go back to the drawing board. Or again, like he can still fall back on strategy, whether he wants to have a different strategy moving towards her or he's going to strategically move away from her. And I think that potentially could have been what happened here in this situation, because he could have moved on very quickly here with another partner. And this other partner, he maybe would have already had on the hook. Like he knew that somebody here was like interested in him, but he didn't have like the same feelings. But because he knew he had this other option, maybe that made him feel strong. It like bolstered him. So he felt like he could actually make a move here towards this feminine energy, because if it didn't work out, he knew that he could, focus here on this other situation in order to distract him from his own hurt and his own pain. And this feminine energy would have, and it was intended for her to read that like she wasn't special, she was just an option, he didn't really have as deep feelings. That's another way that he's shielding how deep his feelings for her are here in this situation. So then her walls are going to go up even more. You see how this becomes this like negative feedback loop and cycle? Now, this masculine also, in terms of his own soul journey, has a very scorpionic soul journey. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if he doesn't have like a sun and or a Venus in Scorpio. Because Scorpio, and I feel like this relationship is actually on the same kind of a trajectory. And I want to say, I think it rests heavily on his own personal development, to be honest. Because, and I am getting that with this feminine. It's not that she's like perfect and she doesn't have, things to learn here. But I'm just getting that a lot of people, in terms of the social connections that we all have, a lot of people do owe her karma. And I think he's one of them. But so this masculine journey very much reflects the journey here within this relationship. Scorpio has 3 tiers, right? So the lowest level is the scorpion. And the next level is the eagle. And the next level is the phoenix. So young Scorpios or immature Scorpios, which again, a lot of men, because they're not taught social emotional intelligence, can be like emotionally immature, even if they're mature in other areas. But being in that scorpion energy is very reactive. So that's what I mean with the strategy too, where it's like, well, of course, like if he's in this immature level thinking, it's like, well, of course I did this. Of course, I left. Of course I got another significant other. I did whatever I did over here because she did this. Of course I did that because she did that. See how that's strategy, but it's also very reactionary. And if you really listen, he's admitting that he is not and doesn't feel like he should be in charge of his own behavior. He's not accountable to it. He's not in control of it. His behavior and his feelings are not going to set the tone in the relationship. He's going to feel entitled to react in a way that's going to ricochet the hurt, because that's really what it is. It's like, well, what's guiding that strategy? What do you mean you had to act in this way? No, you didn't, but that's an immature way of looking at it. And in a way, I feel like this feminine energy could potentially be in that too. She's definitely not going to sting him. And, but she would react by withdrawing into her shell. And that's also a big difference here between these two, is this feminine energy is not trying to hurt this masculine energy. She may have, but it's because she's in this defensive mode. She's not trying to hurt. Where again, I feel like there's a level of emotional maturity over here, because this masculine, when he feels this personal rejection, he is actively retaliating. He's trying to take some kind of action here that he knows would hurt her. And that has to be a threshold in any relationship, romantic or otherwise, that you just do not cross. You don't intentionally try to wound or inflict pain on your partner, which low vibrational, immature, young Scorpios are inclined to do. They'll be your fiercest protector, but because they're leading with the strategy to protect their heart, if you step a toe out of line, you do something that their strategy didn't account for, they take it very personally, and then they go from your fiercest protector to that Hades energy swallowing you up from the depths. You won't know anything about it. They're not going to talk about their feelings, because that would reveal their strategy, that would reveal their position, that would make them vulnerable, and they don't want you to know that, which then goes into that whole Brené Brown secrecy, silence, and judgment for the shame to grow. And so they don't give you an opportunity to work it out. They don't give you an opportunity to clarify. They don't ask clarifying questions because they feel like it's going to make them too vulnerable. So he's got to, with his sun energy and his Venus energy, do the Scorpio thing. He's got to transform. He's got to throw himself into the fire. And I feel like he should have already been doing this before he met this feminine, if he's on his own soul journey and his own soul path. So upgrading this means, in terms of his sun space, it means updating his sun is selfhood, maybe views of father or something like that, but also career, philosophy, something like that. And then in terms of his Venus space, it's ending relationships, cutting cords, cutting ties, changing how he's viewing women and interacting and conversing with women. All of that needs to be changed and upgraded, at least to get him to the eagle. And the eagle is, has that like bird's eye view, that bird's eye perspective, which again, you can see how it leads to strategy. But because you can see things from that higher perspective, you're no longer in that reactionary state, and you are, better able to actually read what's going on. Because from that Scorpion energy that's very reactive, you're not actually getting a very good read on the situation. You're at ground level, it's this tit for tat. You don't have this like overall view, So at the very least, I think if he's in this eagle state, he can put her actions into context that, oh, she's got all this other stuff going on. And that way he can support her in defending herself, because it's not good for him to get offended and triggered by her defending herself. He actually needs to be her biggest supporter in defending herself. And then the highest version of Scorpio is Phoenix, where Scorpio is a sign of death and endings and transformations. So Scorpio's power is actually in vulnerability, because they've got to throw themselves into the fire, and they learn that that's their strength. That every time they stand in the storm and say, destroy me or don't, like, this is what I am, destroy me or don't, it always makes them stronger. Like, iron working, being put into the fire. This masculine has to learn that it is actually his strength to change and evolve and upgrade and risk himself, and especially here with the Sun Venus energy for love and for his values, and to move towards that. And I see that very much here in terms of this connection as well, where it can't be this reactionary state. You both need to be like, looking at this from a higher perspective, and then not being afraid to throw yourselves into the fire here in this situation. So like I said, there's a lot going on here in this situation. I feel like this is a very high level soulmate connection. I do feel like there's distance now, and there is a sense like of waiting on the information that you both need from the other person. I feel like maybe this perpetual state that this relationship is going to be stuck in, unless you can risk your heart and put yourself out there in vulnerability. But I will say, for this feminine energy, it's almost not right, and it's almost not fair for her to have to do this, because with this retaliatory, emotional, immature energy that's coming off of this masculine, he could really hurt her. And this is actually more and more, as I'm getting into this, coming off very Persephone and Hades, like that story where Persephone, of course, gets swallowed up by Hades. And a big lesson for Persephone is that she cannot be an accomplice to her own kidnapping and torture. And I do feel like, if this masculine is sleeping around, first of all, if he thinks he slept around and it's secret, it isn't. I guarantee it's not. She's either heard something about it. She saw something. She saw him like leave a party with someone. She saw him like do something. It's not a secret. Like, it's not. And that could have potentially been, what's come out here in the situation to change her feelings. Like, oh, I thought that he was for me, and he is for her. It doesn't make sense to her that he would be sleeping around because he feels so strongly for her. It's like really, really hard to understand that, and it's really dangerous to apply that kind of thinking to all of your other relationships, Like, can you imagine saying that to your best friend? Like, he's just sleeping with everyone because he loves me so much. Your best friend would be like, girl, you need to get a grip yesterday, So it's dangerous to have that perspective, but it is true. It is what's going on here in this situation. So she really is observing this, and she cannot aid and abet somebody who can't be trusted with her heart. And right now, what I'm seeing here, like if he is doing this, I mean, he can't be trusted with her heart. He needs to take up the mantle of managing his own emotions. He needs to literally type in Amazon, like, emotional intelligence books, and like start to do that, start to upgrade himself so that he's fit for his queen here. And if not, I think it's going to be just devastating and heartbreaking here to both of them. So let's get some messages here from this person. Look, I don't feel ready. That's this masculine's energy. Or maybe it's this feminine. I don't know. I don't feel ready. Oh boy. I'm planning on messaging you soon. I want to see you so bad. I feel you're wife-husband material. But I do feel like this whole state of I'm planning on messaging you soon, that can really drag on here in this connection, because it's like you both want this so badly, but then you really have to risk your heart. Look, please don't go is at the bottom of the deck. I want more than what we have. If you let me, I'll take care of you. But then I don't feel ready. You both make the other person want to change, and you both make the other person want to risk something. This feminine does want to risk putting her walls down despite everything she's been through. She does want to risk her heart. She does want to trust him to do better, to be better. All she wants is for him to say or do something that's going to change her mind. Like, look, I checked myself into a program. Look, go through my phone. There's no X's in here. They're all blocked. Like, or, and then this masculine, of course, does want to change. He wants to get out of this low vibrational energy, which is his own soul journey and his soul path. So that's got to feel really good here as well. Anything else, Spirit? Oh my gosh, not now. I hope you're not with someone else. Yeah, there's just this, again, this feeling of being blindsided by the situation and meeting each other before you were really like quote unquote ready. But Spirit is saying, look, Spirit's at the bottom of the deck. Like, this is exactly the perfect time. Like, this is, this is the perfect time. I do feel like they really don't want this masculine out here harming people, because this is very strategic. Like, if he's pulling people in and he's sleeping with people in order to, he's being dishonest in his feelings with these other people, and he's kind of using them to manage his own emotions. It's reminding me of, there's a quote in Eat, Pray, Love where Elizabeth Gilbert says, never again am I going to use another person's body and heart and spirit. She doesn't say all that, but, I will never use another human's body as a scratching post for my own, like, emotional problems and difficulties. And I feel like he has to get to that level of maturity where he's like, that's just distasteful to him to do that, Yeah, I feel connected. I don't feel ready, just like keeps coming out. Let's see. Look, I'm seeking revenge. And that could be like on this masculine side, because this feminine has said something that he didn't clarify and instead went into this strategic mode. And he wants to ricochet the hurt. Every song reminds me of you. You scare the shit out of me. Oh boy. Oh my gosh, look, I'm seeking revenge. You hurt my feelings. You scare the shit out of me. That's this low vibrational scorpionic energy. I'd really watch that. I think you're amazing. I love your body. Yeah. I don't think anything else is really coming out of this. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys. Pile number 2. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye guys. number 3. No. Who is this? I don't like this energy. This, I can't even hide it. Like, not even a little bit. Okay. Because this person, this is the type of energy where it's like, you need to call a spade a spade. Don't waffle around here with this person. Do not give them the benefit of the doubt. This person is deeply selfish. They are deeply immature. And because of that, they can be very destructive in their energy, very volatile. Some of these people potentially can get very violent, whether that's like with their words, being very harsh, being very critical or judgmental here of your energy and whatever it is that you've built. They definitely want to like tear you down and erode your self-esteem. But for some of these people, if you know they have the propensity, they can get physically violent here. So I just want to reiterate for you that arm's length is not enough for this human being. As far away as you can get from them physically, emotionally, energetically, that is where you should be. And I think for a lot of you, there is like forested areas between you and this person. And that is very intentional by spirit or by your spirit guides, something here like that, because it is helping to filter out this person's negative energy from your space here. So is this person watching your social media? Unfortunately, yes, they are. And probably not surprising to you, but not with great energy. This person has placed themselves in some kind of quiet competition here with you. Now, I say it's quiet. I feel like it's quiet for now. Dormant is the word. There's certainly a potential here for this to be very explosive, very volatile, very loud. And this person is somebody that I think they would demand like equal treatment or something, but their definition of equality is subjugation on your end. And I feel like for a lot of you, if you were drawn into this pile, your energy is probably stack number 2. And I do think that you should watch that because there's a lot of healing messages in that, and it's going to help you see this from your own healing perspective and to understand this energy, I think, from a different light more clearly. But this is the type of person who would demand equality, but what they really mean is they expect you to be a doormat. I also feel like this person, when they're watching your social media, they're throwing heavy evil eye here at you because they're incredibly jealous and envious here of your energy and your space and whatever it is that you have going on. Because I feel like you're really stable in terms of your emotions, in terms of your home life, in terms of your money situation. And that's what it is that they're seeing. I think for a lot of you, you're doing really well here in your career. And if it's not you, potentially it's a spouse here. And that's another possibility is like if this is an ex-lover or something, then maybe they place themselves in quiet competition here with your new person, somebody else that you've been in a long-term relationship or potentially married to here with the Hierophant, and they feel slighted by this. This person is see the looks here. I feel like this person could they have like a nasty look on their face, like whenever they're watching your social media and they're trying to act like they're better than you, but really this person feels extremely inadequate and insecure on the inside. They're being very defensive. This is a person who's very defensive. They're psychologically defensive, which means that their ego is flared up and is lying to them, or it's playing all these kind of games. They're delusional. This is the type of thing that leads to a person being delusional and not dealing in the truth of the situation, because their defense mechanisms are switching around how they are synthesizing information. But this person is very psychologically defensive here of what they're seeing in terms of your social media. And they're also very defensive here of their past actions towards you that like they feel like they had every right to take, or like maybe these actions were very aggressive or possibly even very sexual here, something like this. And whatever it was, you did have to defend yourself, I think, from this person. There's a potential here you had to defend yourself physically from this person, which, but definitely maybe even just they were very critical or very judgmental here, and you had to protect your own self-esteem here from this person. And they don't understand this about themselves, that they place people here in that kind of an energy. It's very like my way or the highway, or I have a right to pass judgment here on your energy, something like that. Now, like I said, they see you doing, I think I'm hearing the song Thriving. I'm thriving now. I'm thriving now. So they see you thriving and doing really well here in your career. And I don't think this person is doing very well financially. And they're envious. They feel like maybe that should be them. And some of them, it's like they even wanted to collaborate here with you, but they feel like they were thrown out of the Garden of Eden in some way, maybe unjustly, or it's because like this person's all messed up and twisted in their mind. Like they're thinking that you are like subjugating them, but really it's like they were trying to subjugate you, or something here like that. But they feel like thrown out. And it's really weird because this is a person who feels like they could have everything with you if you would just play ball. Like they want to build, they want to have a family and a like stable existence, lots of wealth, like, everything. And they see you in the Six of Pentacles energy. This for me is Rohini energy, which is the favorite wife to the moon. So, and maybe for some of you, I'm hearing, this person's kind of like snickering and they're like, well, aren't you just the favorite? Like that's just their energy towards you. And your energy is coming off very Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Like the story from the Bible where Joseph, through no fault of his own, was like kind of the favorite son. He had this bright personality. People loved him because he was loving. And I want to reiterate that for you. People loved him because he was loving. And I feel like that's you. That's your energy. This person is not at all loving. They're competitive, they're angry, they're volatile, but they want what you have. So this is just jealousy. They're not willing to change. They're not willing to reflect. Again, they're being very psychologically defensive. So they're rooting down in their position. It's a very immature energy. And you can see that in this person's journey because there's a lot of Mars sun energy here. And the sun is always like kind of obscured here. This person may blame you for obscuring their sun. Sun is selfhood, their philosophy, because this person may have like a very traditional philosophy and maybe you left and this person's like, well, I don't believe in breaking up marriages or relationships, but you left. Sun is also like father energy, family energy, leadership energy. This person's like, well, I was a leader, but then you obscured my light, or something here like that. And you did no such thing. Like you are just like honestly being yourself here. I feel like you have immensely good karmas. You reap what you sow. I'm hearing you reap what you sow. And this is just a bridge too far for this person to understand that they are reaping what they sow actually. And maybe they want to start looking at what they sow, but instead of looking at that, they're just focused on your energy and they want to judge you for that here. And this person feels trapped and there's not a lot of color coming in here to their space. And they may be having relationship problems. For some of you, I feel like this person feels like you are competition for their partner. Something here like that. So this person is definitely watching your social media and they're being encouraged to move from their Mars energy to the sun energy. They could be, they're very defensive about a relationship here. And another image that I'm getting is like, I think you've been through the forest, and the forest, the woods is kind of like a metaphor for really going through it, like a dark night of the soul. You had to probably stumble around here in order to find yourself, to find your voice, to find your career, to find your self-esteem. You've been led on a journey here of self-discovery. And I feel like you have actually made a lot of shifts and changes. Even in the Joseph story, his brothers who were jealous of him, they sold him into some kind of slavery. And even like being sold into that, he made friends. Like he made friends with the people in the house that he worked with. He eventually got thrown into the prison and he made friends with the guards. He made friends with other prisoners who eventually got out, and somebody was talking to the Pharaoh and that's how he like really grew himself. I feel like, again, you give love, so you get love. You just kind of make friends wherever it is that you go and you are reaping what you sow. This person does not see that here at all. And they don't see what you've been through, which you have been through this dark night of the soul. And I'm seeing this forest energy as almost like a filtration system. Like you've gone through here and you filtered something out, and now this is your beautiful energy. And it's almost like the aurora borealis, you really shine, you really stand out, you're interesting, you're unique. And that's something that this person notices too. Like they feel like your perspectives have changed, and they take that as a personal affront because, again, this is a very small, very selfish person. They see everything as a personal attack on them. You being different, you differentiating, individuating, you making judgment calls in your own life that are healthy. And I think that's something that this person gets confused on, where they say that you're judgmental. And the thing is, we all do have to make judgment calls in our life in order to maintain our boundaries, to decide what works for us, to maintain our self-sovereignty. And that's not the same thing as being judgmental. It's not coming from this negative place, but this person projects that out onto you because they're actually being very selfish. This person is actually being tyrannical and kind of demanding that you fit yourself into their mold, that you do whatever it is that they want, that you be the object of their desire, that you be the horse that they ride across the finish line here in some way. And I just want to remind you, pile number 3, you don't owe them that. You don't owe them that. And now with this fire energy, I'm picturing you like a firefly. And a firefly has like that little glowy butt, but it's like contained, and I'm picturing you and fireflies are so magical, and they just remind you of like summer nights. Usually there's water around where there's fireflies, and it's peaceful and it's like magical and it's really serene. And I'm picturing that's you, and you're this firefly. You've changed, you've transformed your mind here about something, and you've flown into the woods here. And I'm taking this to mean that you are not running from your lessons. You are not running from hardships. You've kind of even like ran towards it because you understand that it's a filtration system. And this is somebody that definitely, this is an energy that has been filtered out. This is definitely happening on an energetic level through the choices and the moves and the decisions that you've been making in your life. So you're this little firefly, you've flown into the forest here, and this person is being invited to kind of follow your energy. You are kind of leading the way for this person spiritually and energetically, but they need to go through their own transformation. The thing is, this person needs to change in order to do that. They need to change their mind here about something and tap into their intuition. Because if they try to go into the woods the way they are now, they're just going to burn everything down. And this person doesn't understand that. So do you hear what I'm saying? Where it's like they want what you have, but they don't have the body. And I don't think this is a physical body, but it's like they don't have the structure built in place in order to do this and to do this well and safely. They only can destroy things and just kind of light things on fire. And I feel like this person kind of does this in their relationships. And again, they don't take like en masse. And maybe that's why this person's not doing so well, is because they come off very competitive, or they come off very aggressive. And it just like kind of burns things down around them. But then they want this to be like kind of, I don't know, like a divine energy. I'm hearing I was here first. Yeah, I mean, this person, maybe they felt like they were in a career space before you, or they were with this person before you, or they were with you before this person. I don't know. But it's like very like a preschooler with a toy. And it's like they're treating you as an object. And I do just want to, again, point you to pile number 2, because I feel like that is, that's your energy here. This is a person who doesn't understand the meaning of the word collaboration and teamwork and equality. They don't. They want a new beginning with you. I kind of feel like maybe your positions have flipped, where like now you're doing really well for yourself, and this person is having like some kind of a new beginning. Their energy is coming off very Maleficent, like the story of Maleficent, where and when she's kind of watching Aurora grow up, and she removed Aurora, her curse did, kind of like from the palace life, so she didn't grow up with the palace and things that she maybe should have had. Instead she had like more that country, living in the cottage with the fairies kind of a lifestyle, but that was enough for her. She made the happiness wherever it is that she went. So this person may have actually done something to try to isolate you, or to try to keep you small in some way, again because they're in quiet competition with you. Now this person would never own up to that. They would never own up to that, because I feel like this person's faultless and without blame in their own eyes. But they may have tried to keep you small in some way, but you made the most out of a bad situation. And I feel like, spiritually speaking, their higher self cannot fail to see that. And because of that, there's a mirror that you shine to this person, where it's like, you need to start looking at yourself. You're actually the issue here. Not that, this is part of the human experience. This is part of the human journey. I feel like this is a major spiritual, psychological awakening for this person if they lean into it. If they resist it, if they want to keep throwing mud, throwing blame here on your name, that's something. I also feel like there's a time where you reached out in vulnerability, and it was actually vulnerable, and this person took it as you being judgmental. But it's, again, their mind is warping things in order to defend. They're in a defensive stance. And I'm hearing there's something here, though, where this person's defending themselves. This person is aggressive. They're very aggro. And this is also a person who, they don't do passive aggressive stuff very well. I think even if this person said passive aggressive things to you, it was like very, very just right beneath the surface that it's actually not passive aggressive. And I don't think this person realizes this, because this person is not self-reflective. They're not self-aware. This person has next to no understanding as to how it is they come across to other people. I feel like this is somebody who says things and they're like, what? That was like totally normal. People say that. I have a right to say that. I had a right to say that to pile number 3. They say that kind of stuff. And then people are like, no. And it's not like, this isn't, I feel like you're probably a person that's very, like, even if you have to say hard things, because the Hierophant is somebody who gives guidance or gives advice. And maybe you do here in a career space or something like that. Or even just like as a partner, like maybe you're a partner who you tried to give this person help. You tried to reflect this back to this person, and they just wouldn't hear it. They never would change. They would never have it. They just kind of try to put the blame on other people or circumstances. Well, your job did so good because all of these variables that really have nothing to do with you and how hard you work and how wonderful you are. And it's just like all coincidental, oh, that this is a person who will dismiss everything good that you did, anything striving or any like good qualities that you have. Because again, if they honored that, they would have to be like, then why aren't things working out for me? Where's my personal responsibility here in this situation? And they are just unwilling to do that. So they may see you actually being very good at giving advice. And even when the hard thing needs to be said, it's like you say it well, and it's clear that you're saying it with positive intent. It's like, I'm saying this because I'm your friend and because you asked me, probably, and because this is the kind of rapport that we have. I know that you would be honest with me in this situation. I'm going to do you the courtesy of being honest with you in this situation, but I feel like you would never do that uninvited or just out of the blue, it's like there's that kind of, either you do this for a job or you do this where you're asked, or where like you and a friend already have that connection, and this person thinks that they're doing the same thing as you. But that's what I'm saying, they have an immature perspective on that. Oh, well they just can't take it. And it's like, you are not in a position where you're giving advice. Like, you just walked up to someone and said something rude. Like, it's not the same thing. But this person, they don't do nuance very well, because in order to do that, this person doesn't see very clearly. But it's always because this person always thinks they're being attacked. Like, that's what it is. It's like they hear everything through the lens of I'm not good enough, because really this person has low self-esteem and they don't think they're good enough. But then this is a person who will think that you don't think they're good enough. Because they don't think they're good enough, they hear everything through that filter. It's almost like they're touchy. This person is very, very touchy. And there's not much you can really do here in this space if this person's not going to look at that, and they're not going to own the real source of the problem. Because I feel like this person has a very tactical way of trying to make you feel like you need to maneuver around them being touchy. They think that's equality. They think that's a relationship. And if you don't do that, this person lashes out. And then they judge you, and they tell you that you're not empathetic, or you're not kind, or you're not considerate, because you're not being considerate of the fact that, because you're not letting them get away with their bad behavior. And this is reminding me, I think it was an Abba and Preach thing that I just watched. And they were talking about something like weathering the storm. It was some kind of word concept. Endure. It's the one about, it's a recent one. They were talking about like enduring in a marriage or in a partnership or in a relationship. And one of the comments on that video was so eloquent. And somebody was like, no. You endure together as a team in a relationship, right? When you're married, you endure things like, miscarriages and natural weather events, financial difficulties, job losses, family stuff. You endure together. One person enduring another person's abuse, vitriol, and bad behavior, that is toxic. That's not the same thing as enduring. This person would have you believing that you are enduring. I'm hearing they would confuse you because they would use a lot of we language. We are enduring together, when in reality, you are just, this is the person, you want to watch this with this person. They misdefine words. So like I just described to you what the actual meaning of that word to endure is in a relationship, this person would redefine enduring as you being a doormat. And if you're not savvy enough, you're not going to catch that that's what they're doing, because it's very slick and it's aggressive. It's a way for them to chip away at your self-esteem. This is somebody who tries to level you, who tries to, and if this person's physically violent or emotionally violent, it's a way of them trying to like knock your mate value down to like their level, because this person feels like you're out of their league, basically. That's what they really truly think, like on the inside, and they covet you. This is someone who covets you. And like I said, they think that they can have everything, but in reality, to create this 10 of Pentacles, you bring the 6 of Pentacles. You're very giving, I think, in your energy, and you do have a healthy balance with giving and receiving. And I think that you have maybe obscured your own sun here for far too long by defining yourself as the giver and only the giver in a relationship. And no matter how strong a person is, they can't simply be the giver in a relationship. You're just going to burn out. So you bring the 6 of Pentacles. This person brings the 4 of Pentacles, which is a card of lack. And it's my Emperor wannabe card. They want to act like they're on the level. They want to act like they're strong, or that they're the Emperor, again, is another energy that like gives advice. So maybe this person wants to act like they're the boss, or that they're strong, or that they can be in a marriage. An Emperor is somebody in a marriage with the Empress, somebody who is abundant, because I think this person sees you as the Empress. you know? So this is a whole lot of mental fuckery, and there's a whole lot of strategy that's going on here where this person tries to maneuver around obstacles. This person didn't respect you enough. I can tell you that right now. This person did not respect you enough, and they still don't respect you enough. But then this person turns around and says that you haven't respected them enough, that you haven't given them an equal seat at the table, when in reality, this person's been taking more than they're giving for far too long. And I think that this is actually like in a lot of their relationships here as well. So this person sees you well guarded, like you have boundaries, good. Whatever boundaries you can have with this person are boundaries that you should have with this person. They see you well guarded. They see you starting over for yourself, having some kind of like a happy new beginning. I do feel like this person is trying to get your attention. They want to draw your energy back to them. And this person may even I feel like this person could try to play nice, but they can't try it for very long. They can't hold it for very long. Because even if this person is like, I feel like this person has a communication issue. Like, I almost was tempted to say that at the beginning, where it's like, oh, maybe there needs to be a conversation here. I would really recommend you stay away from this person. It's like, it's very clear that there's confusion here, but it's definitely just coming here from this person's side. Like, their wires get crossed, and it's because they have like definitely wounded child stuff. Not that you should put up with this treatment. Like, they need to be dealing with it, and they are not. This is not a person who's willing to deal with that. So because of that, yeah, everything kind of fits into their worldview, where things don't mean what they mean to everyone else. And that's also why this person, I feel like this person can be jealous that you give really good advice. Yeah, and that they want to be seen that way, but this person doesn't have the truth. They're deluded because their defense mechanisms run the show. So they can't even see reality clearly. So somebody who's not seeing reality clearly, they're not able to navigate reality well, let alone tell somebody else how to get through the maze. Where you've gotten through the maze here, it's impressive. It's impressive what you've done, and it's leaps and bounds more than what this person is able to do. But they just blame you for that. They just blame you for that. And I feel like this person's very hateful towards you. This is somebody who calls you names and negging. Like, this person negs you. They want to deplete your value. They definitely want to deplete your confidence. And this is a person who's angry that other people seem to love you. I think you've got a really strong support system around you. Don't forget that. Hold on to those people that love you and see you, and know that small people like this is how they behave when they see something amazing and powerful. And that's not a you problem, that's a them problem. It's reminding me of there's a quote that says something like, if you don't stir something up, like, you know you're doing something right when you stir some stuff up, because this is what you're stirring up. You know what I mean? These people exist in our world. I'm hearing about 10% of the population can behave like in this manner. So these people exist, so you should expect a little bit of that kickback if you hit the nail on the head. You know, if you're doing something really, truly worthwhile, you should expect that these people get their feathers all ruffled about, you know? I really am strongly feeling like you have some kind of dharmic energy here. You're going up, pile number 3. You are headed up because you've been doing the work. And I do feel like you are very heavily guarded here from this person. And I think you should keep yourself that way. If you were thinking about maybe offering a new beginning, I would very much caution you not to. But yeah, I do unfortunately think this person is, they're coveting your energy. They're sending you a lot of hateful energy. There's also a sense of reversals of fortune. Yeah, so you could have had a reversal in your fortune, but then so did they. But this person went down or is going down, and you are going up. And again, this person will take zero personal responsibility for it, so they'll never get any traction, and they'll forever be blaming. I used to play softball growing up, and there's this phrase. It's like, my glove's too big, the sun's in my eyes, and I tripped over a rock. You know, like if you didn't catch the ball, that's something that the coaches would always say. Like, kind of, you know, it's like, yeah, those things can happen, but that's not what you need to be focusing on. This is practice. So we're going to practice, you know? If your glove's too big, let's get another one, you know? Or if that's the glove you're going to be using, you need to be practicing using that glove. You need to be efficient with that glove. I don't want to hear your excuses. This is very much my glove's too big, the sun's in my eyes, I tripped over a rock kind of a person. And they make all these kinds of excuses as to why they don't function on the team. This is definitely a person, that's what I'm getting. They don't play well, like on a team. And humanity, at the end of the day, we're just a big team, you know? And I'm hearing it's very important at this time that people like this who don't play well with others are moved to the sidelines. And I feel like there's a huge energetic push to move these people more and more like away and out of the sidelines, because I think they like to, They only care about themselves. That's kind of like what I'm getting. So I just want to remind you to watch pile number 2, because I feel like, again, that's going to be your energy. Like, regardless of gender, it's this very maiden-esque, very sweet, very innocent, very unassuming kind of an energy. And I feel like your energy has been taken and taken and taken from. And I think if you really check in with yourself, you're angry about it. Not necessarily with this person in particular, although probably, because I think you were always trying to be the bigger person, and maybe you were always bulldozed. You tried to reach out in some kind of, you were vulnerable. You opened up, you shared something vulnerable, I think. A part of you, I mean, certainly if you were in a marriage with this person, you try that. And I feel like this person can get very aggressive when that happens, because somebody is showing themselves to be the bigger person, and they do understand that other people will see that. And so they have to scramble to control the narrative and paint you as being aggressive when this person's aggressive. I wasn't getting that before, but yeah, I feel like this person, when you reach out in some kind of vulnerability, this is somebody who will be aggressive. And I think you have to watch that if you're going to have a new beginning with this person, or have to engage on any level of conversation, because I don't even think it's for very long, because I don't think this person can keep it together for very long, but they will try to kind of pretend like they're not this way, this competition, angry, volatile way towards you. And then as soon as because they expect this from you because you're a sweet person, as soon as you reach out in your sweetness, they will like really bring the hammer down on you. They're aiming to hurt. I'm hearing they will go for blood. So please stay away from this person, pile number 3. And this might have been a really difficult lesson for you, identifying this energy, but I feel like I'm hearing like once bitten, twice shy, but I'm seeing somebody like getting scratched and then like having that energy like in their blood. Your immune system kind of knows what to do with it now. And I feel like that's a huge net gain for you overall in terms of your spiritual journey. Like, I just don't feel like you're going to get taken in by this energy. Certainly not this person. But like this energy overall, like now or in future lives or in the future, I think you're really doing a lot to inoculate yourself. That's what this is. This person is inoculating you to this energy. That's what they're doing. Yeah. Because you are going through some kind of change or transformation. I'm hearing these kind of people are always going to be there. They're always going to be there as you change, as you grow, as you shine. So you're inoculating yourself, because again, I think you have a dharmic path, and you are going to continue to grow, shift, and change, and reap what you sow. Pile number 3. That's what I have for you guys. If that resonates, definitely please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is definitely, like, your energy is beautiful. I would love to have you be here and be a part of this channel. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Bye.